Here to bring you the answers to those questions and more is a very close friend of mine, the man who's Mr. Atlantic City, knows more about Atlantic City than just about anybody. He's a video podcaster, who you could follow on Facebook. He's a terrific radio talk show host on WOND, and somebody that I am proud to know, the one and only AC Mike Lopez. AC Mike checking in live from Atlantic City. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, Frankie, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. The days and the balls in the air never seem to settle down here. There's always something going on, as you well know, Jesus spoke of.
That's what's so fun about America's Playground. So let's start with what's open and what's closed. I know all of New Jersey began offering outdoor dining on Monday. I went down to Asbury Park. I got to enjoy a dinner in a restaurant for the first time in 3 months. In terms of all the great Atlantic City restaurants that we've been both patronizing over the years, what's open for outdoor dining right now?
So what's open for outdoor dining, Frankie, it varies. But as we speak today and what happened over the past weekend, the 15th, I should say, Monday, we have everything from Doc's Oyster House, 1897. There, a big, beautiful tent is erected out in the parking lot, beautiful tables. You got the servers and whatnot out there doing the typical Doc's Oyster House type thing, to Back Bay Ale House in Gardner's Basin. You could go out and grab a great burger and see the clam boats go by. You have Wonder Bar. You have Vagabond. I could go on and on. So, we're taking up the sidewalks as much as we can. Lots of great restaurants out here, whether it be Atlantic City, Ventnor, Margate, right up the road to Absecon. And same thing on the boardwalk. On the boardwalk, we have a couple of great establishments called Bricker Burgers, where you get great burgers, and they're bringing everything out to the boardwalk to you. Steel Pier, our friend Anthony Cantanoso, he's got everything open on front of the pier, plus games and whatnot. So I'll stop there, and you just let me know, and we'll go back and forth.
So
Frank.
is there any timetable for when you're hearing that restaurants, either in New Jersey in general or in Atlantic City specifically, will be open for indoor dining?
You know what? As of right now, no, I don't. But what the governor did say, that it will be something that's very fluid, and talk about it, all based on data. So I can see it. I mean, this is just me giving a guess. I can see it happening very soon, whether it be a limited number. If a joint holds up to 100 people, well, now we're letting 40 or 50 in, whatever that percentage may be. That sort of thing happening. Same with the clergy and churches and whatnot. So to give a hard date, no, I don't have one, but I see it moving good if everything continues the way it is. And over here in Atlantic City, even though we're wide open, Frankie, as you well know, as far as, this was the place, the world's playground. It's not a self-proclaimed world's playground. This is what it was named. And sometimes the laws don't always are followed here in Atlantic City. That's the way it was established. Yeah. Lucky Johnson said booze, broads, and gambling.
I'm working my way through Boardwalk Empire now, and it's a terrific series, and I'm enjoying it. But it is interesting. You'd never think 100 years after that series that they'd be setting up speakeasies for hamburgers and lobster. You used to think of speakeasies as being where you go for a beer or a whiskey. Now, speaking of whiskey, Mike, that's something we certainly indulge in on this program once in a while. This is pretty interesting, pretty groundbreaking. Last Friday, the mayor allowing the open consumption of alcohol on the boardwalk. How significant is this for patrons like me that enjoy imbibing now and again? And how significant is this for the businesses that are struggling to stay open right now?
It's huge, Frankie. It's something that's been in the works, legislation, for quite a few years now. A friend of ours, Tom Forkin, got it going a few years back, and I give a pat on the back and kudos to Mayor Marty Small for making it an executive decision to forego with it, moving it forward. It's on the Assembly desk right now, and I believe that they will pass it. But he went along with it, and you know what? It's going to be huge. These establishments. It's going to be a marked cup. It's not like somebody's walking around with a bottle of vodka and just pouring them freely and whatnot. Not that that doesn't happen, but I'm just saying, coming from the establishments. So it's huge, Frank. You're going to be able to come with your girl, your buds or a bachelorette party, have a couple drinks, go from one establishment to another.
Nice.
And, ACPD, they're working in conjunction with them. So everything, they actually were there with the mayor and the others with the press and the press conference last week. So it's huge. It's huge.
Mike, let's talk about the $1 million question that a lot of folks are waiting and wondering the answer to. How about casinos? I saw you had an exclusive interview with Governor Murphy on your terrific show a couple of weeks ago, and you asked him about a timeline for reopening the casinos. We haven't been able to get the governor on our radio station for a while throughout this whole pandemic. I think it's a testament to the following you have out there in South Jersey. But what did the governor say, if anything, about when casinos will reopen?
Well, first of all, thank you, Frank, for those kind words. Yeah, and I thank the governor, too. I'll give another shout out to him. I was persistent and went after him for about 3 or 4 weeks. But what he did say when I brought it up, because it was the obvious question, and I give him kudos because he answered everything. He said that he would like them to be open prior to the 4th of July weekend. So with that being
that's
said,
the next 2 weeks, basically.
I'm sorry.
That's coming up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Frank. Yeah, so it's coming up, and then also having, president of Hard Rock AC and speaking with Steve Callender and Diane Spears over at Ocean and Steve from Tropicana in the last few weeks. They need gear up time. So whether it's training their employees, Hard Rock put out a great email yesterday, letting folks know and customers what they're going to be doing as far as their team. And I'm sure the others will follow suit. So they need time to train the new protocols. And then also, of course, as you know, all these restaurants and bars and lounges, they need food and get that sort of thing delivered. Yep. So we need a hard date. I believe the governor will be saying something, whether it be this week or next week.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Mike, two final, we only have about 90 seconds left, but there's two final subjects I want to get your take on. One is there's a big election for mayor coming up in July. The last mayor, Frank Gilliam, went to jail, or he was convicted in a fraud case. The fellow that took over was the president of the city council. He's finishing his term. He's up for re-election in his own right, July 7th. It's an all-male election, all male. How does that look for Marty Small? More important, should the people of Atlantic City care about this? What sort of difference is it going to make in terms of who is elected on July 7th?
Well, absolutely. This election is all, like you said, July 7th, I believe it is the primary. Marty Small, James Whitehead, and Pam Fields. Listen, Marty Small has been in since October of last year. He's been thrown to the fire, whether it was a takeover or a government takeover, a pandemic. It's going to be huge. I believe Atlantic City needs to vote on this. I mean, there's been times when only 6,000 people have voted out of 39,000 for a mayoral election. This is important. This is very important. Mike, it's only for 1 year, though, Frank.
Oh, 1 year. Okay, know. That's good to know. And Mike, in 30 seconds, how bad was it in terms of the damage done from these protests after George Floyd? Serious? Not so serious?
It was serious. It was serious, and we got stuff cleaned up. Tanger outlets will be coming up. The boards are coming off, and the people got together. We cleaned it up, and we have to take this thing. Listen, what happened to George Floyd is terrible, but you don't need to do what was happening here. Keep the focus on him. Real quick, Frankie, I got one more thing. As we were speaking, I just got an invitation to a press conference, Showboat. $100 million water park going to be talked about with Bart Blackstein.
Mike, we're going to have you back next week and chat about it. I'll look forward to seeing you in person in a couple of weeks. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Biz TV.